Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is Wyln News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. Wyln News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on Wyln News. I'm Julia Wiegand. We start off tonight with breaking news of a body that was reportedly found in Luzerne County. Emergency crews responded to the Susquehanna River just this afternoon for reports of a body in the river. Search teams were in the water near the Pierce Street Bridge, and the coroner was called to the scene. An individual was indeed found, and an autopsy is set to be performed to determine the exact cause of death. The identity hasn't been released at this time. We'll have more details as they become available to the public on this developing story. A Summit Hill woman missing since Sunday was found early this morning. Rescue crews searched most of the day Monday for 33-year-old Lily Colenseco, who was reported missing by her family after not being seen since 9:30 Sunday morning in a wooded area near Panther Valley High School. The search was called off, and authorities believed there to be no evidence of foul play. They say when they found her today, she was dehydrated and taken to an area hospital. The fate and future of fall sports were the main focus of a Zoom meeting this afternoon involving the PIAA Board of Directors. According to the agenda, various sports committees offered recommendations for the upcoming fall sports season. These recommendations were just a few listed for discussion. For football, the use of face shields. For field hockey, the use of home sites for playoffs instead of neutral sites. For soccer, not permitting water bottles on the playing field, with the exception of goalkeepers, for the purpose of only wetting their gloves rather than spitting on them. For cross country, limiting events with 4 or fewer teams to a max of 12 participants. For golf, eliminating the practice of inviting runner-up teams to fill the field at the championships if a district or region does not advance a qualifier. For volleyball, allowing flexibility in the number of postseason qualifiers and brackets if necessary. And for tennis, each player getting their own individually marked ball. Again, these recommendations listed on the agenda were just that, recommendations. The PIAA decided to go through with the upcoming fall sports season, yay, leaving decisions up to each individual school. The Department of Health announced that each one of the state's 600-plus skilled nursing facilities have completed universal testing. Secretary of Health Dr. Rachel Levine issued an order for residents and staff to be tested for COVID-19 back on June 8th.
This was an essential step to ensure that we further protect residents and staff within these vulnerable communities.
Rapidly detect asymptomatic positive residents and employees to prevent further transmission of the virus in living facilities.
By completing universal testing, facilities are one step closer to achieving all of the goals set out to allow safe visitation, communal dining, and activities. I cannot underscore how large of an undertaking this was for the facilities and for the Commonwealth and the Department of Health.
Approximately 84,000 Pennsylvania residents live in nursing facilities. According to Levine, owners were provided the resources needed to accomplish the task. The state partnered with CVS and Eurofins to continue providing facilities with testing access at no cost. Dr. Rachel Levine spoke up yesterday about the recent comments and harassment aimed at the LGBTQ community, herself included. Wyln's Phil Kaufman has more.
Prior to the COVID-19 update, Dr. Rachel Levine, Secretary of Health for Pennsylvania, addressed all Pennsylvanians regarding transphobic comments made towards the LGBTQ community in the state.
I feel that I must personally respond to the multiple incidents of LGBTQ harassment and specifically transphobia directed at me that have been reported in the press.
The comments of transphobia came to light after the Bloomsburg Fair posted pictures of a fire chief who wore a dress and wig into a dunk tank to raise money. Many attendees to the event commented on his appearance to look like that of Levine. The fire chief denies this, saying that it was not the intention. However, since the incident, light has been shed on several other transphobic comments and incidents that have occurred against Levine.
But I want to emphasize that while these individuals may think that they are only expressing their displeasure with me, they are, in fact, hurting the thousands of LGBTQ Pennsylvanians who suffer directly from these current demonstrations of harassment.
Only 1 month ago, the Supreme Court prohibited discrimination in the workplace due to sexual orientation and gender identity. Levine addressed the continued discrimination that the community still faces.
But LGBTQ individuals can still be denied housing and public accommodations in most places in Pennsylvania that do not have local non-discrimination ordinances. We have not made progress unless we have all made progress. It is in this space that these acts of intolerance live, and where we need to continue to work against them.
She then addressed the perpetrators and perpetuators of these comments, as well as the youth of the LGBTQ community.
If your apologies are sincere, then I accept your apologies. But an apology is the beginning, not the end, of the conversation. I call on you and all Pennsylvanians to work towards a spirit of not just tolerance, but a spirit of acceptance and welcoming towards LGBTQ individuals. Our children are watching. They are watching what we do, and they are watching how we act. And to all LGBTQ young people, it is okay to be you, and it is okay to stand up for your rights and your freedoms.
Reporting for Wyln News, I'm Philip Kaufman.
Thank you, Phil. A New Jersey man was arrested during a raid early Tuesday morning in Luzerne County. The U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force caught up with 24-year-old Jaquel Carter, who was one of 3 people charged in the fatal shooting death of a 17-year-old in Jersey City back on July 6th. Carter's been on the run since the shooting took place and was charged with being an accomplice to first-degree murder. Marshals found him at a home in Plymouth, where he surrendered. He was taken to Luzerne County Prison to await extradition back to New Jersey. A sentencing memorandum was filed in Pennsylvania's Middle District Court earlier this week regarding a former McAdoo man's sentencing. The report recommends that 28-year-old Sean Christie serve a term of roughly 21 to 27 years behind bars. Christie was convicted on numerous counts, including threatening the president and interstate transportation of stolen vehicles and guns. He led police on a 3-month manhunt spanning several states until his capture in Ohio, September of 2018. The recommendation states that sentencing guidelines would send a message to others from engaging in similar criminal acts, providing just punishment for Christie's criminal conduct. He was originally set to be sentenced June 17th, but was rescheduled for tomorrow, July 30th at 2:30 p.m. Property tax owners in Luzerne County will officially have to pay their bills by the August 18th deadline. County Council rejected an ordinance that would have extended the due date to December 31st. The ordinance was proposed by Councilman Walter Griffith, who said the extension would have helped residents financially struggling during the pandemic. Council members who voted no on the ordinance said the county needs the nearly $1 million in penalty revenue that it would have lost if the deadline was extended a second time. Taxpayers must pay their bills by August 18th in order to avoid a 10% late payment fee. A Luzerne County man's facing charges after a not-so-pleasant incident at Mohegan Sun Pocono Downs earlier this month. According to reports, 57-year-old Donald Smith of Pringle became argumentative with beverage staff back on July 15th. As casino security tried to escort Smith off the property, he became combative and blew a snot rocket at employees. Smith had to be physically restrained, sustained an injury during the incident, and was taken to an area hospital for treatment. He was charged with disorderly conduct, harassment, and public drunkenness. Walmart recently announced it'll be giving employees Thanksgiving Day off. Now, Boscov's is following suit. The department store chain announced today that it will be closed on Thursday, November 26th. Boscov's chairman and CEO said that now more than ever, The year 2020's reinforced the importance of family. The decision allows Boscov's customers, coworkers, and communities to enjoy an uninterrupted Thanksgiving meal. Earlier this week, Target and Dick's Sporting Goods also announced that their doors will be closed on Thanksgiving Day. Coming up on Wyln News, imagine buying a high school, plus campaigning in the Keystone State once again. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Lorelai, and I'm 7 years old, and tomorrow it's going great.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet trap and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-455-4251 extension 1378 for more information.
From the bottom of our hearts, the WYLN TV 35 family would like to say thank you to all essential workers for your service to our community and for keeping us safe.
A zoning hearing to appeal a temporary residential drug treatment and rehabilitation program operating in downtown Hazleton was postponed again until September. The zoning board will hear an appeal that was filed by the Greater Hazleton Chamber of Commerce, Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress, and Can Do on September 3rd. The appeal regards Lackawanna Hazleton LLC's application to operate a temporary residential drug treatment and rehabilitation program from a former post office at 145 East Broad Street. The hearing was postponed by officials at least 3 times since November of last year, before the pandemic. The zoning board meets again August 20th, but gave the appeal a separate hearing September 3rd, expecting it to be a longer, more involved meeting. The Coughlin High School property's up for sale. You know, if you happen to have a spare $1.8 million lying around. The 136,282 square foot building sits on a 3.8 acre property that includes a parking lot on the other side of North Washington Street. The Wilkes-Barre School District's plans were set in motion nearly 3 years ago to build a new consolidated high school, merging GAR, Myers, and Coughlin High Schools. The 77-acre former mining site's located between South Main and Maffitt Streets in Plains Township. After it opens for the 2021-22 school year, the district plans to use GAR as a middle school and demolish Myers. Several new online resources were launched this week, designed to provide mental wellness resources for fire rescue and EMS personnel across the Commonwealth. If left unaddressed, mental and behavioral stress can interfere with day-to-day life, affecting work, sleep, and relationships. In the end, stressors can lead to PTSD, depression, anxiety, substance use disorders, or the risk of suicide. According to a 2015 study done by the National Fire Protection Association, almost 50% of firefighters experienced suicidal thoughts, nearly 20% made plans, and 15.5% even attempted it over the course of their careers. Details and more can be found by visiting the OSFC's website. Current and former vice president campaigns were set for this week in the presidential battleground of Pennsylvania. Jill Biden joined U.S. Senator Bob Casey and the president of the Pittsburgh Federation of Teachers Tuesday for an online discussion on how to safely reopen schools amid the pandemic. Discussions with Pennsylvania's second largest school district after Philadelphia involved a proposal for a 9-week postponement of in-class instruction. Vice President Mike Pence will address a Cops for Trump campaign event at the Greenburgh Police Department in Westmoreland County. After that, he'll speak in Somerset on economic recovery from the pandemic at the headquarters of an industrial sealants and adhesives maker. Coming up on Nescapec's News Choice, we have a little pre-COVID throwback on this Wellness Wednesday and talk Lyme disease in Community and You. Plus, the MLB seems to keep getting smacked by the virus. Stay with us.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
Hi, I had a very minor fender bender tonight in an unreasonably narrow fast food drive-thru lane. Don't worry, I have everything handled. I already spoke to our Allstate agent, and I know that we have accident forgiveness, which is so smart on your guys' part. Like the fact that they'll
4 weeks without the car.
Okay, yep, good night.
With accident forgiveness, your rates won't go up just because of an accident. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Visit your local Allstate agent, the McNeilis Agency in Hazleton at 1092 North Church Street, or in the Hometown Village Square. Looking for information on the coronavirus pandemic? Make sure it's from a reliable source. Go to WYLNTV.com and click on the Lehigh Valley Health Network banner for the real facts about the coronavirus pandemic. And watch WYLN News live at 5:30 for updates on this ongoing crisis. The source matters now more than ever. WYLN, we're your local network.
How you doing, everybody? This is Ricardo Santos from Yay Zapata. That's right, Yay Zapata in the house. That's what's up, that's what's up.
Meet Ricardo Santos. This is one of his Mexican food trucks. He is not a chef.
I'm not the chef.
But he makes amazing Mexican food. And he has joined the WYLN family with his own cooking show, Cooking with Jay Zapata.
Welcome to Community and You here on WYLN, and if the calendar is correct, it's Wednesday, which means it's Wellness Wednesday, thanks to our friends over at Lehigh Valley Health Network. And today we are on location at Dr. Benio's office in Cunningham on Lantern Lane. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And today we are going to be talking about Lyme disease. Now, we live in Pennsylvania. There's bound to be a lot of ticks. There's bound to be a lot of ways that you can acquire Lyme disease, but let's get a general overview of the definition of Lyme disease.
Sure. So Lyme disease is very common in Pennsylvania. The prevalence is over 20% with ticks, and it's usually the deer tick that carry it. They also carry other, quote, tick-borne illnesses, and it typically is Borrelia burgdorferi. That's the name of it. It's a spirochete. It's kind of geeky stuff. But anyways, it was originally found in Lyme, Connecticut, when they saw that these children were having all these arthritic symptoms. They thought it was juvenile arthritis. And then they found out that there were crops of them and they would have a rash. And so they isolated the tick and found this organism, and then they biopsied the rash in these children, found the organism, and then voila, there's your Lyme disease. So very common around the area. Usually as spring starts to emerge, we start to see it. And typically You notice it when you're out hiking in the woods, wooded areas. We don't typically see it too much in the city. And it is carried by the tick, the deer tick. And so typically they will go on anywhere on your body. It can be while you're walking. You'll notice that they kind of go on exposed areas of the skin. Right. So very common.
Now, you were saying that these children were experiencing arthritic symptoms. Are those, could you explain a little more on like the symptoms of, say, you get bit?
Sure. So anytime you're out walking around and you notice a tick, some people won't notice it for a couple of days and they'll start to see a rash. We call it a erythema migrans. So the rash kind of migrates and it goes to different areas of the body. There's this characteristic bullseye rash that has central clearing, but it's colored around the outside. Those are classic symptoms. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have those, but if you do have those and it's spring, summertime, fall, we typically will say that's kind of suspicious for a tick bite. You can also develop fevers, fatigue, chills, almost flu-like symptoms. Muscle aches, pains, joint pains very common. Swelling in the joint is also common. Some people also get neurologic symptoms. It'll almost look as though they have a stroke. It's called Bell's palsy, where one side of their face is kind of weak and very common. And then more serious complications, you can develop heart block, which requires IV antibiotics. And then also neurologic symptoms where it infects the kind of brain and you get confusion. We call that encephalopathy. And so it can cause a myriad of symptoms that can range from a nuisance to very serious.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get that serious. What are some ways to treat Lyme disease once you get bit, once you may or may not be diagnosed?
Sure. So a lot of times we have coming into our office patients who say, "Oh, doc, I just had a tick. I pulled it off of me. What should I do?" So typically you want to first identify that it is a deer tick. And then second, if it's been attached for more than a day and a half, and if you've come in within 3 days and you're not allergic to doxycycline, we typically treat you for that. However, some people will notice the tick and it's the weekend and they want to get it off. So we always suggest you take it off as soon as you notice it, and that's with tweezers, applying firm pressure and twisting it as you take it out.
Well, thank you so much for talking Lyme disease with us today.
Sure.
And thank you everyone watching Our Community and You on this Wellness Wednesday. Remember, check, 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 because we're not going to stay inside all day, so just be careful. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time here on WYLN.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
S.J. Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call S.J. Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
Hi, I'm Julia Wiegand, the newest news reporter for WYLN News. I'm so proud to be part of your #1 local news team. WYLN News. When local news happens, you can count on WYLN News to be there, whether it's in Berwick, Tamaqua, or right here in Hazleton. We work hard to be your #1 local news station and will continue to work hard to stay #1.
We've seen the concern in your eyes. You're scared, nervous, want to know if it's safe. The answer is yes. At LVHN, you'll see the extraordinary steps we take to get you the care you need safely. At all our facilities, you'll see temperature checks for everyone. that we sanitize every surface. And yes, you'll see that masks are required. What we look forward to seeing is relief in your eyes. Lehigh Valley Health Network. Your health deserves a partner.
The MLB suspended the Miami Marlins season through Sunday, while the rest of the MLB forges ahead amid the pandemic. In the wake of the most recent outbreak that infected half the Marlins roster, MLB players are said to be hesitant on whether they should keep playing or not. 4 more Marlins players reportedly received positive test results, bringing the total up to 15. Before that, 9 of the 30 players on the roster, 2 taxi squad players, and 2 staff members tested positive. Additional MLB rescheduling for the week of August 3rd will be announced sometime later this week. Looking for a job? Well, American Eagle Outfitters Incorporated is holding a drive-through hiring event next week. The company will hold a drive-through hiring event August 4th through 5th at the Humboldt Industrial Park. A strong demand from American Eagle and Aerie shoppers has fueled the need for full-time associates. The event will take place in the parking lot of their distribution center at 600 Oak Ridge Road. Participants won't have to leave their cars, but must wear a mask and practice social distancing. Those interested should text AE to 25000 to reserve their interview time. Details and more can be found online at aeo-inc.com. PennDOT's hosting its annual online highway safety survey in order to help the agency adjust its safety activities to reduce crashes and fatalities. Over 10,000 people responded last year, where approximately 91% of participants said they always wore a seatbelt, while 89% claimed they never drove while impaired. Motorists are encouraged to take the survey that's available at penndot.gov from now through August 17th. It only takes about 5 minutes to complete, and all responses, including the comments fields, are anonymous. That's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page or WYLNTV.com, where you can also find LVHN's real facts about COVID-19. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.
Hi, I had a very minor fender bender tonight in an unreasonably narrow fast food drive-through lane. Don't worry, I have everything handled. I already spoke to our Allstate agent, and I know that we have accident forgiveness, which is so smart on your guys' part. Like the fact that they'll
4 weeks without the car.
Okay, yep, good night.
With accident forgiveness, your rates won't go up just because of an accident. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Visit your local Allstate agent, the McNeilis Agency in Hazleton at 1092 North Church Street, or in Hometown in the Hometown Village Square. WYLN CA35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the Children's Programming Report is on file for public inspection at WYLN 1057 East 10th Street in Hazleton, Pennsylvania during normal business hours. To view the report online, visit fcc.org.